This audio recording is intended to facilitate the gradual release of confidential documents pertaining to a top-secret exchange program where 12 U.S. military personnel went to the planet Serpo, which is located in the Zeta Reticuli star system between the years 1965 and 1978. This is posting 13B by Anonymous. Note by Bill Ryan. This posting was sent directly to myself and was not sent to Victor Martinez. It is presented below verbatim. Nothing has been added or edited. Typos have not been corrected and all the formatting has been retained. The leader of the Ebens is a larger creature than the others. He seems to be more aggressive than the other Ebens. When I write aggressive, I don't mean in a hostile way. He seems to be the boss, similar to me as the team leader. His voice, although after all this time I still can't understand any words, is harsh and with a tone that is different from the rest. 203 claims the leader has an attitude. I agree. He is extremely friendly to us and has accommodated all of our requests. The leader has requested many things from us, most of which we have provided. One strange thing is our blood. He wanted all of us to supply blood samples. EBE2 explained that the blood, or health fluid as EBE2 explained it, was necessary for them to supply any medicine to us if we should ever need it. 700 and 754 feels that a blood sample might just be used for other purposes. We have allowed the Ebens to utilize 308's body for experiments. They took all 308's blood. That was without my approval. I wrote about that in log 3888. We had a very tense situation with the Ebens about that. When we traveled to the building housing 308's body, we were confronted by several Ebens. EBE1 showed up and I explained that we wanted the body of 308. EBE1 told us the body was in storage and we could not take it. We told EBE1 that we will take it. The 11 of us walked by the Ebens, numbering 6, and walked into the building. They did not attempt to stop us. While inside, we could not open any of the containers. There was some type of system, maybe crypto style, that was being used to lock the containers. We did find the containers housing 308's body. We decided to send 899 to our storage area and get some explosives to open the container. EBE2 showed up with the leader. EBE2 was extremely polite and asked us to wait. She said the word please several times. In fact, she actually used the English word beg. We backed off and I told EBE2 that we wanted our friend's body and we wanted to examine it. EBE2 translated that to the leader. There was a long exchange of words between the two. Finally, EBE2, who seemed very frustrated, told us that the leader would like us to go into another location and speak with another Eben, a doctor, about the body of 308. EBE2 explained that everything wanted to know about 308's body would be explained to us by the Eben doctor, who EBE2 said spoke English. I told EBE2 that I would leave 899 and 754 here to guard the body and I would take the others to the location containing the doctor. EBE2 translated that to the leader. Again, there was a long drawn-out exchange of words between the two. It lasted for several minutes. Finally, EBE2 stated that the leader would like all of us to leave this building and go to visit with a doctor. I told EBE2 no, I would not leave the body of 308 alone. I felt that this was going to be a confrontation. I told 518 and 420 to go back, obtain our handguns, and come back ASAP. I was not going to allow the Ebens to countermand my decisions. When EBE2 heard this, she told me to wait and placed her hand against my chest. I told her to translate that to the leader. Again, there was several minutes of word exchange between the two. EBE2 then stated that the leader would bring the doctor here to discuss the situation with us. EBE2 asked me to please don't send your men for guns. Guns are not needed. We can settle this without guns. Please don't. I told EBE2 that we would not get the guns, but we would not leave until we saw 308's body. The leader did something with the communication device on his belt. About 20 minutes later, 3 Ebens showed up inside this building. One of the Ebens, who identified himself as a doctor and who spoke very good English. This doctor had a strange-sounding voice, almost like a human's voice. This doctor did not have a high-pitched accent like EBE1 and EBE2. I was very impressed with this doctor. I just wondered where he has been for these past 18 months. We have never saw him before. This doctor told us that 308's body was not inside the container. The Ebens have done experiments with 308's body because they considered it an honor to have such a specimen to work with. The doctor told us they have used 308's body to create a type of cloned human being. I stopped the doctor at this point. I told the doctor that the body of my teammate was the property of the United States of America, planet Earth. The body did not belong to the Ebens. I did not authorize any experiments on the body of 308. I explained that humans consider a body to be religious. Only I could have authorized the use of 308's body for experiments. I demanded to see the body. This doctor explained the body was gone. This doctor said all the blood, body organs were taken out and used to clone other beings. The use of the word beings really scared me and the others. 899 became extremely angry. He called the doctors curse names. I ordered 899 to be quiet. I then told 203 to take 899 out of the building. I realized this matter could really blossom into a major incident. I could not allow that to happen. There were just 11 of us, and we realized that if the Ebens wanted to imprison us or kill us, they could do it very easily. But I didn't think that the Ebens would resort to such behavior. I was not going to allow this incident to advance into something worse. I realized there wasn't much we could do about what the Ebens have done with 308's body. EBE2 looked very upset. EBE2 told me that everyone should be nice. She repeated the word nice many times. EBE2 did not want this matter to escalate. I kind of felt sorry for EBE2. She was trying to mediate the matter. 203 suggested we return to our living quarters and have a team meeting. I told the leader that I did not want any further interference between whatever is left of 308's body and experiments. I pointed my finger towards the leader's face. EBE2 translated along with the doctor. The doctor, who was extremely straightforward, told me that nothing further would happen to the body, but advised me very little was left of the body. EBE2 then told me the leader was concerned that we were upset, that we were their guest, that the leader was upset that we were offended. The leader did not wish to upset us and promised that nothing further would happen to the body. I thanked EBE2 and had her relay that to the leader. We returned to our huts. Everyone was upset, especially 899. I told each member to calm down. I explained our situation as if each team member didn't already realize it, that we were only 11 military personnel. We had no way of fighting the Ebens. We did not come 40 light years to start a war with the Ebens, a war we could not win. We could not even win a simple fistfight with the Ebens. Yes, maybe we could beat them up, but what then? We have to realize our situation and act accordingly. I ordered each member to reconsider the situation and to accept the facts about 308's body. I told 633 and 700 to investigate this cloning procedure with the English-speaking Eben doctor. Let's get all the facts about what they did with the body and what we can find out about the body and the Eben's experiments with the body. EBE2 came to the hut. I told EBE2 that 633 and 700 were going to examine what was left of 308's body. They would also conduct research into the Eben's experiments done on 308's body. EBE2 looked very concerned. It is sometimes difficult for us, even after the time we have been on this planet, to determine the meaning of facial expressions on Eben's face. EBE2 replied that she must first obtain approval. Approval was a new word for EBE2. She must reading or learning our language. Maybe she is just picking up our words. I told EBE2 that she can go get permission, but that we were told when we arrived that we did not have any restrictions on where we went. EBE2 said she would speak with the leader. 633 and 700 gathered test equipment and prepared themselves for the examination of the Eben laboratory. According to our time device, EBE2 came back about 80 minutes later. EBE2 said it was all right for my men to visit their laboratory. I decided that I would also visit it. Myself, 633, and 700 were escorted by EBE2 to the laboratory facility. We had to be taken by the helitransport device, as we call their helicopters. It took us some time before arriving at this location. According to our compass readings, which are not really a compass reading, but we made points of reference, and according to them, we traveled north. The facility was large by Eben standards. The building looked like a large single-story windowless school. We landed on the roof, or maybe just a landing zone on the roof. We were escorted down a walkway or ramp. They don't have ladders on this planet. I think I wrote about this in one of my past entries. They have ramps. We arrived in a room. White walls. We then walked through a hallway into another larger room. We met our English-speaking doctor. We saw many other Ebens, all dressed in a bluish-colored one-piece suit, different from their ordinary suits I spoke of in past entries. The doctor told us that all the experiments done inside this building, he didn't call it a laboratory, just a building, is done to create cloned beings. We were led into another room where there were rows of containers looking like glass bathtubs. Inside each bathtub were bodies. I was shocked, as were 700 and 754. Bodies, strange-looking bodies, not human bodies, at least not all of them. We started walking down the space between the tubs. We looked into the tubs. These were hideous-looking creatures. I asked the doctor what type of creatures were inside these tubs. The doctors told us that these creatures came from another planet. 700 asked the doctor, were these creatures dead when they arrived, or did the Ebens bring them here dead? The doctor said all the creatures were brought to the planet alive. 700 asked if the creatures were kidnapped or brought here against their wishes. The doctor was not sure of the word kidnapped. The doctor seemed puzzled. The doctor asked about the question. 700 said that these creatures were taken from another planet and brought to Serpo without permission from them or their leaders of their planet. The doctor said that these beings were brought here for experiments. These creatures are not intelligent beings. EBE2 then used the word animals. Okay, now I understand. All these creatures are animals from other planets. The doctor didn't seem to understand the word animal. EBE2 and the doctor exchanged words in Eben, and the doctor then said yes, they are animals. I then asked if there were any intelligent creatures in this building. The doctor said yes, but that all of them were dead when they arrived on Serpo. 700 asked to see these creatures. The doctor corrected 700 by saying beings. Okay, I guess creatures are animals and beings are like humans. Let me first write down the description of these creatures inside these tubs. They are not all alike. The first creature I see inside the tub looked like a porcupine. It appeared to have a tube placed inside of it. The tube leads to a box underneath the tub. The second creature I see looks like a monster. It has a large head, big deep-set eyes, no ears or mouth, but no teeth. It is about 5 feet long and has 2 lower legs, but no feet. It has 2 arms, but it doesn't appear to have any elbows. It has hands, but no fingers. This creature also has a tube going through it. The next creature looked like nothing I can compare it to. It had blood-red skin, 2 spots in the middle, maybe eyes, no arms or legs. It had a very strange odor. The skin appeared to be blotchy with scales, maybe like a fish. Maybe it is a fish. The next creature was human-like, but the skin was white. Not skin white, the color white. The skin was wrinkled. The head was large with 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a mouth. The neck was very small. The head almost looked as if it sat on the lower torso. The chest was thin with large bone-like protrusions. The arms were curled with hands but no thumbs. The legs were also curled with feet but only 3 toes. I couldn't look at any more creatures. We walked down another hallway, through a room, down a ramp, into another room. We came into a room that looked like a hospital room. There were many beds, or at least some type of bed, Eben-style bed. I described them before. In each bed was a living being, as the doctor called it. The doctor told us that each being was alive and well cared for. 700 asked the doctor if these beings were ill or sick. EBE2 had to translate that, but the doctor said no, they are being lived. The 3 of us seemed really stunned by that word lived. I asked EBE2 what the doctor meant. EBE2 exchanged words with the doctor. EBE2 then used the word grown. 700 asked the doctor if these were the cloned beings that he mentioned before. The doctor said yes, that each being was being grown, using the same word as EBE2 just used. 754 asked the doctor if these beings were being grown like a plant. The doctor said yes, that is a good comparison. 700 asked the doctor, how are they grown? The doctor said that certain parts of other beings were being used to grow these beings. The doctor said he could not explain the process in English because he didn't know the words. 700 then asked EBE2 if she could explain the growing process. EBE2 said that she did not know the English words. EBE2 said that parts of the blood and other organs are used to mix a substance that is placed inside the bodies of these beings. That is all EBE2 could explain in English. I told 700 to go back and get 420 and bring them back. While we waited for 420, we looked at these beings. They were breathing. They looked like humans, most of them. 2 of the beings on the end looked like humans with dog heads. These beings were not awake. They were either sleeping or drugged. 420 returned. I told 420 to see if he could translate the method used to grow these beings. 420 then spoke with EBE2. 420 is really good. However long we have been here, some guess about 18 months Earth time. 420 learned the language well. 420 then said that the growing process involved cells taken from other beings, grown and mixed with chemicals, and then inserted into the bodies of the other beings. That was about all 420 could explain. 420 did not know the words EBE2 used, but the word cell was used. EBE2 then told me that some things were taken from inside the cells. 700 and 754 then asked if the item taken from inside the cells were cell membranes or identification markers for the cells. EBE2 translated that to the doctor. Both seemed confused and said they could not explain the process because they did not know the English words for it. 700 used the word advanced biological extraction of the cell membrane, but neither EBE2 or the doctor knew anything about that process. I asked 754 if he might understand what they were doing. 754 said that human cells contain smaller substances that can identify the structure with the membranes of the cell. This isn't something that Earth technology has advanced, but 754 has read about it prior to leaving. But 754 doesn't think that Earth technology can be used to grow living cells into what the Ebens have done. The Ebens must have found a way to grow cells and to make them into living beings. 700 and 754 said nothing like this is known on Earth. I then asked the doctor if 308's body was used to create a being. The doctor said yes, and he showed us the being. I was shocked, as was 700 and 754. This being, with our teammates' blood and cells, looked like a large Eben, but the hands and legs were similar to humans. How could they have grown this being so quick? Obviously, this was well above our intelligence. I saw all I wanted to see. I told the doctor that we would like to leave. EBE2 saw that I was upset and touched my hand. Instantly, I felt concern. EBE2 was really concerned about what I saw. EBE2 said we leave. We traveled outside this building, a building that I did not wish to see again. I saw the dark side of the civilizations. The Ebens are not the humane civilization we thought they were, but I must say they didn't hide anything. The doctor spoke straight to us, just like the Ebens. They don't know how to lie. Seeing what we saw will change our impression of the Ebens as long as we stay on this planet. And that is the end of this video. If you like things like this, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'll have more things like this. Take care.